Hi guys, this is the ASMRnerd, and today I'm going to be playing some Civilization 6. This game came out a couple of weeks ago, but I've been incredibly busy, so I haven't had much opportunity to play it yet. And so I'm going to be playing and probably encountering some new systems and some stuff that hasn't been in past Civ games. That should be fun. Very briefly, for those of you who may not know, Civ is a game in which you lead a civilization from its very beginnings all the way through to the modern era and even to the future. And the games can go for a very long time. Even just one game can last for many hours. And so I'm going to start a game today, and we'll see where it ends up. Maybe I'll come back for more episodes with it if all goes well and people like it, but I'm not necessarily committing to a full playthrough of a game here. But we'll just see. Let's play it by ear. So let's get started. We will go single player, and I have played one game through to maybe turn 50 or something like that, which is not really that far in. But that's about it so far. But let's create game. So these are our basic options here. We can choose our leader from a number of eminent historical figures associated with different civilizations. And traditionally, I like to play as Greece when I'm starting a new Civ game. Just because, I guess, I don't know. I like Greek history, Greek aesthetic. So Pericles is the Greek leader in Civilization 6. We'll keep the difficulty on Prince because that is sort of the middle of the road difficulty, at which I believe I receive no handicaps nor penalties. Same goes for the AI. It's a comfortable place to play. We could speed up the game a little bit, so this will make turns go a little bit faster. Or not, sorry, make things take fewer turns, build faster. Might be worth considering, but we'll stick with standard for now just to see what the default experience is like. In terms of map type, these are the basic types. The map is randomly generated when you play, so what's island plates? Islands ranging in size from small to large. We could stick with continents. That's a pretty basic sort of map generation type that looks kind of like the world. And what we might do is we might do a small map as opposed to a standard, just to make it a little tighter and maybe give us a chance of finishing the game one day, maybe, by having a smaller landmass and fewer players. And then there's all these advanced options about temperature, rainfall, sea level, all that stuff. Victory conditions, but let's not bother with that right now. Let's just stick with the basics and see how it goes.
From the first stirrings of
course, Sean Bain's dulcet tones are all throughout this game. He does all the voiceover.
Your mastery of the spoken word is a gift of great value, silver-tongued Pericles, leader of the Greeks. Through it, you can attract the devotion of a league of states, surrounding yourself with their glory. Establish cultural sites along the rocky shores of Greece to unite your people behind
Let Mr. Bean finish here.
If all goes well, the sirens will sing of the age of Pericles.
So each race has a handful of unique features and abilities. The Greeks are particularly good with city-state allies, and city-states are sort of what they sound like, individual cities that are not part of a larger civilization, that are randomly scattered throughout the map, and you can ally with them and gain benefits. The Plato's Republic feature gives the Greeks an extra wildcard policy slot in any government, and we'll get to that later, what policies and governments are all about, because those are new or redesigned features in this iteration of Civ. Also, we get an early game unit, the Hoplite, fairly strong early game unit, and a unique district called the Acropolis, and we'll see more about districts in a little bit as well, but they're a new addition in this game. So let's begin. So, as with every game of Civ, we begin dropped in the middle of an unexplored landscape. This sort of parchment texture all around represents the unknown world. We start with a settler and some warriors, and from here we must build our civilization and ultimately send a ship to the stars or take over the world by force, or it's a handful of ways we can win the game. But anyway, that's a long way off. Let's start with the basics. Building a city. This looks like a pretty good spot to build a city, and the game will usually place you in an appropriate spot. But we have some resources around. Let's take a look. Looks like we've got some cattle just across the river. The river itself is a valuable resource, provides fresh water, as you can see down here, which will improve the growth of our city. Looks like we've got some stone, which will increase the productivity of our city. More cattle in the distance. And just across the river, it looks like we have silk, which is a luxury resource which keeps our people happy, which is of course important, because happy people are productive people. So let's build our city right here. We just click Found City. And thus, Athens is born. I'm going to turn off the grid, because I don't find it necessary. You can sort of see where each tile is anyway. And it looks nicer without it. So, Athens is going to grow. Right now it's only a size 1, a population 1 city, but turn by turn it will grow. And we need to choose something for the city to produce. The city must always be producing something. So right off the bat, we have a handful of options. We can build a monument, us to research these civics faster, which we'll get to in a bit. It will also expand the boundaries of the city faster. Or we could make a warrior or scout to defend the city from possible barbarian incursions. Or a scout to explore some of this unknown terrain. None of these options are particularly better or worse than another, but I like to explore the map early on, get the lay of the land, so I'm going to say let's build a scout to start with. So that's going to take 6 turns for that scout to be created. In the meantime, we must choose some research here. So it's worth opening the technology tree here. There are a whole variety of technologies that some are dependent upon others, and through time you sort of progress through this tree all the way up through sort of medieval and Renaissance, industrial technology, right up to the future or the modern era, and ultimately into the future. But let's keep our eye on the prize here. Right now, we are just beginning, so we have our choice of pottery, animal husbandry, mining, or if we really wanted, we could jump straight ahead to some of these more advanced technologies. And beyond the first tier, technologies have this this boost ability, which is something new to Civilization 6. And what that is a condition that, when met, will provide quite a bit of progress towards researching that technology and make it faster to research when you do ultimately choose to focus on it. And that provides sort of little objectives for players to work towards while they're sort of passively researching the technology. It gives something active to work towards potentially. But for our first tier of techs here, there are no boost conditions. So we just have to sort of brute force them. Just let them research turn by turn. Pottery, animal husbandry, mining. Now we do have cattle nearby, so I think animal husbandry is potentially worthwhile. It would let us build a pasture for cattle. But pottery is always a good start as well. It lets you build a granary, which increases food in your city, helps it grow faster. And we've also got stone right here, so mining would also make sense. We actually have a lot of choice here. I'm thinking maybe we'll go with mining to start with, which will allow us to build a quarry on that stone resource, and that will speed up production in our city. So that's going to take 9 turns for us to research mining. So the last thing we have to do on our first turn, very long first turn because I'm talking a lot, but we have to set out with our warrior, who is stronger than the scout that we're building, but can't move as far. So let's head south, why don't we? this turn, really, except continue exploring with our warrior. And in the early game, what we're trying to find is, well, really, we're trying to find tribal villages, which are little settlements that you find around the map, that when you explore them, they give you a bonus of some kind, sort of a randomly generated bonus. And we're also trying to find city-states that we could potentially ally with.
We have discovered a city-state. Establishing diplomatic relations with them will surely be beneficial for our empire.
I probably should have
Perhaps we should send them an envoy.
turned off the advisor.
There are several different types of city-states.
Oh my goodness, okay. She'll be
Our city-state neighbors have made a request of us.
popping in every once in a while to tell us about stuff, but anyway. So we found Jerusalem, which is a city-state, and it looks like they have a warrior that's also exploring around. They're not going to be hostile to us right off the bat. As a matter of fact, they probably are interested in talking to us. What does it say here? If we go click on quests. So the quest they have given us is to send a trade route to them. That would create a route between their city and our city, and we would both benefit economically. So it's going to take a little while to get to the point where I can send a trade route, but when I can, I will probably do it, because it would be to our benefit. Okay, so let's how do we close out of this? There we go.
Just as our citizens have faith in your leadership, so they are beginning to have faith in a higher power.
Okay. I really should have turned that off. Let me see if I can. 1 second. Okay. Turned off the advisor. She won't be bothering us anymore. So we can keep poking around in this direction. So in addition to tribal villages and city-states, we're also looking for potentially new locations or good locations for new cities. When the time comes, we will want to establish new cities. Okay, so we've built our scout here. He's hanging out in the city. And you can head up this way maybe. Explore to the north a little. Looks like we've got some horses out this way. So next, what do we want to produce? Well, again, monument is useful. It would be good to have some kind of defense as well, because I've sent off my warrior unit to the south there. But a builder would also be very useful, because the builder could help develop some of these nearby resources. So maybe we'll do a builder. That's going to be another 10 turns, which is a little while, but truth be told, I'm not quite sure exactly how aggressive the Barbarians in this game are. I've heard say that they are more aggressive than in past games, so I'm not sure if I'm making a big mistake by leaving Athens undefended. I hope not. sense. We'll cross the river here.
When you find yourself in a hole, quit digging.
Okay, so we've completed our mining research. We can now build mines and quarries. But we can't actually do that until this builder is completed. Then we'll be able to start developing this surrounding landscape. In the meantime, though, it's probably worth researching animal husbandry, because that will allow our builder to put a pasture around these cows. Not a lot to see out this way. Okay, so we just encountered some barbarians. They are fortified in their encampment. They look like barbarian spearmen, which are actually more powerful than our warriors. At least their base power is greater, base strength. But it just so happens that our warriors are actually effective against spearmen, whereas spearmen are effective against cavalry. So we might be able to take them on, but I would also venture a guess that there are other barbarians not too distant, and often you end up in a bad situation where you get attacked, from behind by nearby allies of these guys or whatever. I've also noticed that there is a tribal village down here. That's what I was mentioning will give us bonus, various things, resources or units or whatever. So maybe we'll take our warrior back around this way, so that we don't have to tangle with those barbarians. So let's see. So maybe I'll start moving my scout to the west, kind of loop around this way, whereas this warrior can kind of come from south and east. Okay, looks like we've run into, I think Amsterdam is another city-state. Yeah. So let's see what they want from us. They would like us to trigger an inspiration for the state workforce civic. So, that's like those boosts with the science. When you meet a certain condition, then you can boost your civics as well. And let's actually take a look and see what that boost is. So the state workforce is a little ways along, and to boost, we must build a district. That's straightforward enough, but it will take us a little while to unlock districts that we can build. But we should be able to satisfy that quest at some point as well. Okay, cool. Having discovered another continent, we realize there's a wide world of trading opportunities. So, I'm not quite sure how that happened, but we boosted discovered another continent. I don't think this is another continent. It looks like it's just separated by a river. That's very strange. But maybe there's something weird going on where this river just like goes all the way around to the ocean out here and then out there. And somehow this is considered another continent because of it. I don't know. Seems a little strange, but we'll see what happens, I guess, as we explore.
At his best, man is the noblest of all animals. Separated from law and justice, he is the worst.
Okay, so this is our first civic that we've completed. You always research it by default at the beginning. So civics unlock governments as well as policy cards. So our government, the first government you unlock, is called chiefdom, and it provides one military policy slot, one economic policy slot, and then because we're playing the Greeks, we get an additional wildcard policy slot, which lets us put in any kind of policy card. And we've unlocked some starting policy cards here, including a survey, which gives our recon units more experience, so those would be the scouts. A discipline, which gives us extra attack against barbarians. Urban planning improves production in all of our cities, and God King gives additional faith and gold in the capital. So why don't we start off by slotting discipline, because we will be fighting barbarians, and that will be useful. And urban planning is very useful for early game growth. Then our wildcard slot, we could do either of these, but I find survey a little bit situational, I guess, because I mean we've only got one recon unit, and XP is nice, but allows us to give them small upgrades to that unit. But I think a bit of faith and gold is maybe more useful in the long run. With faith, we can unlock a pantheon, which will allow us to eventually found a religion, and religions provide certain kinds of bonuses to the civilizations that found them and that follow them. So, this entire system with these policy cards and these governments and civics like this is all new in Civ 6, and I think it's quite well implemented. Makes for interesting choices. So let's confirm those policies. Okay, so our warriors were skirting around here to get to the tribal village. Now, with their additional strength that we just gave them with that policy, we might actually just be able to bludgeon those barbarians to submission, but I think we'll just stick with going around for now. Like I said, there might be additional barbarians lurking nearby that we can't see. So now we need to choose a new civic. We research Code of Laws. Our next options here are craftsmanship or foreign trade. Foreign trade was boosted because apparently somehow we discovered a second continent. But for that reason, it would make sense to research that. It will only take half as many turns as craftsmanship, as you can see. So let's do that. It will also get us the trader unit, which we can then send to Jerusalem to satisfy that quest they gave us. And civics are progressed with culture, whereas science is progressed with, research technologies are progressed with the science. And these are generated by our city. Well, cities, but only one right now because we only have one city. Okay. I sure hope that tribal village is still there by the time we get there. Oh look, we found another tribal village up here. It's nice. Oh, is that so? Well, that's just a bummer. So, it would seem that our warrior is going to be unable to reach the tribal village this way because the mountains are not traversable. Which leaves us in a bit of a pickle if we want to get there. Either we fight the barbarians and try and take their camp, or we go around, which seems like it'll take an awfully long time. So maybe we just give the combat a shot. So we finished creating a builder in our capital, and now we can move on to something else. I think a monument would be a really great thing to start increasing the rate at which the border here expands. A settler is something we might want to consider soon, but not just yet, I don't think. Let's go for the monument. Now, builders are a little different than they have been in previous Civilization games, in that instead of just hanging around forever and taking time to build improvements, they now build improvements instantly. So you tell them to, for instance, come over here, and next turn I'll tell them to build a mine or quarry, and it'll be created right away, but it will use up one of the three guys in this builder unit, and when all three of them are gone, the unit disappears. So they essentially have three charges. You can see right here, 3 builds. And then the unit is consumed. So, that was sort of, I think, Firaxis' way of addressing the issue of the late game problem where you have a billion builder units just kind of kicking around, costing upkeep, and not really having much useful to do because you've already improved all your tiles that you want to improve. You can always disband them in past games, but it felt like an inelegant solution. Okay, up here we have a barbarian scout that has appeared. We could charge in there and try and bludgeon him with our scout. This is going to be a real close fight, though, and I don't see a lot of use in doing that right now. So I think we're just going to move in towards this tribal village, and next turn we should be able to grab it. Alright, our warriors are going to come back around. And our builders are going to build a quarry. It says here, your considerable knowledge of masonry has advanced your knowledge of masonry has advanced considerably. By building a quarry, we've boosted the masonry tech. That's nice. Our scout can now explore the tribal village. You saw we got 40 gold there. There's a little floating icon. So that's nice. Went straight to our coffers. Okay, so because because we chose we slotted that God King policy card in our wildcard slot there. We have been slowly generating faith turn by turn. That has allowed us to found a pantheon, which is the beginning of a religion. And we have a whole handful of pantheon beliefs, which we can select from. Some are a bit situational, whereas some are a little more general. And I'm thinking that, goodness, what do we want here? So many options. Well, Dance of the Aurora makes no sense because we're nowhere near tundra. Nor does desert folklore. Our cities are not. Our city is not near a desert. In fact, it's mostly plains, isn't it? Plains and river. River Goddess provides extra amenities to cities if they have holy sites, which are a district adjacent to a river, and we have a lot of rivers, so we certainly could do that. But it's going to take us a little while to get to that point. Monument to the Gods improves creation of ancient wonders. Divine Spark, more great people, Lady of the Reeds and Marshes, additional production from wetland areas. I don't think we have any of those either. We can take a look, I guess. No, we're basically just plains. A little bit of forest. Some jungle, but it's fairly distant. God of the Sea, not useful. We're not near the ocean. God of the Open Sky, extra culture from pastures. Now that might be worth considering. Well, not really. We've got one spot where we'll have pasture. Gods of the Hunt, stone circles, extra faith from quarries. We do have that quarry. We would then generate faith faster. We don't have many strategic resources nearby. We have the horses somewhere, but they're a ways away. There's a lot of choices here. Extra food from... No, we don't have any of that. Extra culture from silk. That's what we have over here, right? Yeah. So that's potentially worthwhile. We have lots of silk nearby. One good generic one is always fertility rights, which is just all cities grow 10% faster. You know that's always going to work for you because it's just a blanket kind of thing, and city growth is quite critical. It's sort of a toss-up between oral tradition here and fertility rights, but I think I'm going to go with well, religious settlements is also pretty good, but let's go fertility rights. I don't think you can go wrong with that. So let's found this pantheon. And in doing so, we actually boosted our progress toward mysticism, which is nice. Okay. That took a little while, but I think we made some good choices there.
No dogs in heaven. Then when I die, I want to go where they went.
So we've researched animal husbandry. So we're going to need some new research, and I think pottery should probably be our focus, because that will us access to irrigation and writing, as well as the granary building, which will help our city grow faster. So our builder can now hop over here. Next turn can build a pasture. And our scout can continue his journey of exploration up here. He's going quite a ways north. Might be worthwhile to circle back around soon. You might have noticed this really cool effect where this parchment melts away to reveal the map, and then any area that's not directly within the line of sight of our units or cities kind of fades back to this papery looking kind of sepia texture, which is really neat. I like the way this game looks. There was a lot of consternation initially about the graphics when it was first revealed, and I will admit that I was one of the naysayers. I thought that it looked overly simplistic, kind of crude, or just like almost cartoony, as opposed to the more realistic look of Civ 5 and Civ 4. And I still think maybe it looks a little bit too stylized in some cases, but when you're up close, excuse me, stomach growling, when you're up close, you can appreciate the detail of the textures a bit more. And yeah, I think in motion it all looks very nice. You know, the way the map sort of melts in and out, and I just think it is fairly aesthetically appealing. I think they did a good job with it, really. Okay. Right, we're building pasture here. And in doing so, we've boosted the horseback riding research. Lots of good boosts coming along. I think we'll head north this way, so we don't want to head down there. We'll just skip this last bit of turn. Okay, so we'll see if these spearmen sally forth to attack our warriors. I highly doubt they will, because in doing so, they give up their fortification bonus, and they leave their settlement open to attack. So I think we're going to have to attack them next turn. Yes, okay, so minor victory, which is to say, by the numbers, we are a bit stronger. We should be victorious, as long as we're sticking to a 1v1 fight here. Although it'll be close. But let's see how it goes. So, did we come out on top there? We did, by a bit. So, over the course of another 2 turns maybe, we can wear them down, hopefully. Okay. So it looks like that scout, or a different scout, has appeared to the north of us, so maybe we'll just go this way. Oh no, there's a couple of different sets of scouts up there. So, our builder has just 1 charge left, 1 build. And there are a couple of options, but we cannot take advantage of this silk yet. We need irrigation to do so. So I think we're just going to send our builder across the river here and build a nice farm to provide more food to Athens. So let's continue the assault here. So once again, I wish it wouldn't zoom away right so fast, but it's pretty clear that we are winning this combat. As long as no other barbarians appear nearby, we should be able to take them out next turn, I believe. Claim the encampment, which will give us a bit of gold, and then move south and take this, explore this tribal village. And in the north, our brave scout continues to chart the wilderness. Okay, so let's build a farm. So our builder unit disappears at this point after 3 builds, and we've made some progress towards the craftsmanship policy, or civic, I should say, which, if you recall, is this one here. So once we're done with foreign trade, perhaps we'll switch to craftsmanship. Alright, let's see if we can finish this. So in the bottom right of the screen you can see that the prediction is that we will finish off this barbarian unit this turn and survive with a bit of health. Now that prediction is not 100% accurate. There's a bit of variability. Sometimes things just don't go in your favor, but I think we'll be okay. And there it is. We can take the camp, we gain some gold, and by doing so we also gained more inspiration. Military tradition has now been boosted, so we're getting all kinds of boosts to all kinds of techs here, which is great. Okay, let's wrap around to the south here, or continue west and then we'll wrap around. You can hear that music that's playing. Very simple little tune. That melody is actually one of the oldest known melodies in the world. And I'm gonna mess up the name, but I think it's called the Epitaph of Skylos or something like that. But it's a real melody that was discovered. It's an ancient Greek melody, and it was used as the Greek theme in Civ 5 as well, and now it's returned in Civ 6. But in the early times, like near the beginning of the game where we are, it's just played as a very just plucked single string instrument, very Spartan. But as you progress a little further, it begins to get a little more fleshed out. The orchestration has more pieces to it. It's really neat the way they've used that music. But it's just super cool that it's this piece of real ancient history that they've brought into the game.
That's the positive aspect of trade, I suppose. The world gets stirred up together.
So, we've now completed foreign trade civic, and that unlocks for us a couple of new policy cards that we could, in theory, slot, like caravansaries, which gives us gold, additional gold from trade routes. But we don't have a trade route established yet, so it would be a little premature, I think, to switch to that policy. And maritime industries is pretty much useless to us because we are not near an ocean, so we'll just carry on. So we've got some options. Both are craftsmanship and mysticism. specifics have been boosted, and so we could do either of them quite quickly. But let's take a look at the policies they give us. ILCM, additional production towards builders, which is useful. These builders are created faster. And I don't know how to pronounce that word, but AGOG. Our military units get produced much faster, also quite useful. Mysticism gives us great people getting generated faster, as well as the Oracle Wonder. I think we'll go with craftsmanship for now. It's a fairly pragmatic option. And I guess we built, what did we just build here? I don't even remember. But anyway, no buildings or districts that we can work on right now, so let's build a, let's do a slinger. Oh no, let's do another warrior, and he can defend our capital, because really we should have somebody fortified in our capital, a military unit. Although, we can now build a trader, and send that trader to Jerusalem, gain some income, complete that quest. Maybe that's what we ought to do. Let's do it. Because I haven't seen any barbarians near our capital yet. So, I don't feel too threatened. Okay. A unit needs orders, as always. And with that combat complete, we can head to the south. And next turn, we will be able to take that. Or not take it, explore that tribal village.
No man ever wetted clay and then left it, as if there would be bricks by chance and fortune.
And so with our pottery research complete, we can now think about what we want to look at next. Lots of options, but I think irrigation makes a lot of sense. It will allow us to build a plantation on those silk resources near our city. So let's do that. So we have here an injured barbarian scout, and I wonder if we can't attack it, maybe take it out, and this turn to the next, gain some experience for our scout. Scouts are generally not good combat units, but it looks like we're in a fortuitous position here. So why don't we do that? Gain a little bit of experience, maybe. Okay, so that worked out in our favor. And now, finally, our warriors can explore that tribal village, and we gain some gold for our troubles, which is nice. I think this might be a good place to end. I know we haven't made a lot of progress, but we've seen some of the new features in the game, and we've explored around a bit, got a feel for the landscape, and I think this video is getting up towards an hour, so now's probably a good time to end off. But I really enjoy this game, this iteration of Civilization. I have played them all at one point or another, and I think this is an excellent continuation, evolution of the series. And I would be happy to play more if that was something that you guys would like. So please do let me know down in the comments section if you'd like to see more of this, and I will happily play some more of this map. And if not, then I've got lots of other videos lined up that I would like to do for you guys too, so hope to hear from you in the comments either way. So, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this, found it relaxing,